My name's Terry. I'm a Foreign Service Officer, Consular career track. I'm currently working actually in a management job, managing a General Services Division for the Bureau of Consular Affairs. But prior to that, worked overseas in China, Laos, and Indonesia, performing consular work in each of those locations. And in Laos also performed political and economic work as well. When I was an undergraduate, I developed an interest in history, primarily Asian history. And originally being from Arkansas, there weren't really any universities that provided Chinese language instruction. I kind of planted the idea of the Foreign Service in the back of my mind at that time. And years later, after working as an economist for the state, I decided to go ahead and take the examination and pass. So I selected consular work because I really like working with people. And I found particularly the American Citizen Services portion of that work to be fascinating. And I'm glad I selected that track because, working overseas, I think the most rewarding work that any Foreign Service officer has is assisting Americans overseas. I think one of the more rewarding feelings was working on an international parental child abduction case in China. So it was complicated, but it was rewarding in the sense that we were able to get out, visit with the children, confirm that they were in fact being cared for, that they did not have any serious health issues and so forth, and able to report that information back to the left behind parent. Our core job is to remain neutral, can't take sides, and to try to do our best to make sure the children are being cared for. So I found that rewarding because it lasted over a 2-year period of meeting regularly with the parent and the children and then communicating back with the department. And eventually it was resolved with the children being returned to the United States. So that was a good outcome, but it took a long time. There were certainly lawyers involved on the U.S. side, but also the State Department has an Office of Children's Issues that specializes in international parental child abduction, and they offer guidance on these types of cases as well. I think it's a great honor to serve overseas representing the United States government. And there's a lot of diplomatic corps in the world for every country, and not all of them actually have the opportunity to select the countries they're serving in. And this is a point that I make regularly to host country nationals and host country officials. When a Foreign Service officer is posted to a particular country, it's because they listed that country on a list of positions they were interested in. And I think that that carries a lot of weight when you mention that, because a lot of officials think of Foreign Service officers coming because they're sent there and they have to be there. But we choose to be in the places we locate in. And I think that demonstrates that we have a real interest in serving in those particular countries and have an interest in the issues in those countries.